Hello again, art friends. In this video, I'm going to show you the process I use to clean my dirty paint water so that I don't have to worry about it getting into the water supply where the toxic chemicals could potentially harm wildlife. I am not being sponsored by Golden or any other products in this video. Okay, so when it's time to clean a bucket of dirty paint water, this is what I use. This is the Crash Paint Solids from Golden Paints. They created this system so that you can safely filter out the solid paints that can dry out, and then you can just throw those away. And then you actually have clean water that you can either, if you're going to dump down the drain, at least it's cleaned, or sometimes I use it to water my plants, and oftentimes I just reuse it in my studio a couple of times. So the kit comes with a crash solution, which is step 1, and then a neutralizer solution, which is step 2, the smaller bucket for your dirty paint, a stir stick, a filter with a strainer, and then this larger bucket where the clean water drains into. So for step number 1, we're going to grab the little container crash solution labeled 1. They've made it super easy to get an ounce of this solution. There's a little mark here on the bottle, and you just squeeze the bottle until it fills to that mark. And then that gets dumped in your paint solution. As we're going to gently stir this for about a minute. Okay, so after you've stirred it for a minute, now it's just going to sit and just sit for 15 minutes before we add the second part of the solution into it. Okay, so now it's been more than 15 minutes. It's time to put in the second part of the solution. Okay, so we use the same process, just squeeze the bottle till it reaches the 1 ounce mark. And then you just dump it in, and we're going to stir that for 30 seconds. It does have a little bit of an odor, so you can throw a cover on it, because now it does need to sit for about 45 minutes before we run it through the strainer. Okay, so it's actually been a couple of hours, and we're ready to run this through the filter. And I don't know if you can see this on camera, but you can see that the top layer of this is already starting to clear up a bit. So it's already starting to separate out. So all we need to do is you need to wet down the filter. This is just water. Pull it down. Then this just needs to get dumped in slowly. And then I swish the stuff on the bottom. And you'll see that's where all the crud is. Okay. I generally just sort of cover it up while it's draining so it doesn't smell in my studio. We'll check this in the morning. All right, so this sat overnight, and you can see that it has drained all the water. So I have some relatively clean water here. And this is still damp, but it's going to go ahead and dry out. So I'm actually going to leave the lid off so that it dries out a little bit faster. And then I'll show you what that looks like, and then that just gets crumpled up and put in the trash. Okay, so this has actually been sitting for a couple of days, and you'll see it's starting to dry out. So it just creates solids basically back out of the paint water, which then are safe to throw in the trash. And you'll see here that the water is pretty clean. I actually reuse it once or twice just to clean brushes out in again, rather than dumping it. So I'm actually reusing the water multiple times before I throw it out or before I dump it. So for a place like California where we always have a water problem, it's great to be able to have something that will let us reuse water at least a couple of times for painting and cleaning brushes.